Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Kirsty Runs Wild. I am a little bit over 18 weeks pregnant. It is Saturday, June 28th, and Zach and I just had our gender reveal party today. So we got some very exciting news, and we shot off powder fire extinguishers over the lake, and there was blue powder in there, so we found out we are having a boy. And we are both so excited. We had about 20 people, our family there, and then my friend Jess did the gender reveal. So she wore her shirt that said keeper of gender, and she brought her the powder cans that she ordered, so we were able to shoot them off. She did not say a word to me this whole time, so it was really, really exciting. And she actually did something super special. So Jess is 6 weeks behind me in pregnancy. So she found out her gender about a week ago through a blood test. And so she wanted to find out right away. She didn't want like a gender reveal or anything. So what she told me was, Kirsty, we're having the same gender. And I was like, are you kidding me? And she's like, you're gonna have to wait until your party to find out what we're having. So it was super cute, and she really enjoyed keeping the secret from me, making me squirm. And she brought her husband and her 2-year-old Ava and swore them to secrecy too. And everybody had to wear kind of like the color they wanted the baby to be, so pink or blue. And she had her family wear like all mixed pink and blue, so no one would give it away. So she did a very good job hiding it and everything. So that was super fun. Like all of our family came. It was just like a really great day, despite the fact that it was like cloudy and everything, and it sprinkled and like rained a little bit. In the early part of the day, the rain like held off. We had a barbecue in our backyard. Zach grilled and people brought sides, and we had like some great decorations. I have some like right here. So we had like this little voting for the gender thing. So you voted whether you thought it was going to be a boy or a girl, and write your name on the vote. And then we put in everybody's name that won. So everybody that thought it was going to be a boy, we put their name into a raffle, and we raffled off a gift card, a $25 Panera gift card. So Zach's brother Garrett won the gift card. So that was really cute. And I also did like little name suggestion bowls. I did like boy name suggestions and girl name suggestions. So everybody had a good time like writing down their suggestions for names, and like we went through them at the end. Like people were just kind of like rifling through them, and I think people really enjoyed that. And I had just like little decorations up. Like I put these like little onesies from like welcome boxes I've been getting from different registries and stuff on the fridge. Like you can see them there. Super cute. And I had the inside set up and the outside because it was like raining. So I had like, these little like garlands, and like, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it says like girl or boy. And we had like these balloon stands from Amazon. They're like sticks, so we put like all these like balloons around them, like pink and blue, and we put them on the edges of the lake, like a pink one and a blue one, and they looked so good. And I made like a balloon garland, and it was just like great. I got cupcakes from Harvard Sweet Boutique, and they did such a good job. So yeah, we were just like very happy with the day. It really went perfectly. We couldn't have asked for anything better. So it was just like wonderful. My cousin Lee got there like right before we did the gender reveal, so she got to see him. My cousin Fuzzy got there right after, but it was okay. We showed him the video. So we were so excited. So we were like experimenting with saying like, oh my God, we're gonna have a son. Like instead of like a boy or a girl, like it finally sunk in, like, oh my God, we're having a son. Like we never said like son or daughter, you know, everybody talks about you having a boy or a girl. But we're like, oh my gosh, there's something about the word son that's like, that's ours. That's very sacred. It's not just like this flippant label of gender or sex of the baby. Like it's like that's something like more like personal to us. So that really sunk in, and it was just really a wonderful day. So I'll also post the video of our actual reveal. So be sure to look for that. And yeah, so that's the update on the reveal. That's, you know, I'm 18 weeks. We waited a while for this reveal, even though I should have known, like, I can't even tell you. I should have known the gender, let's see, a month ago. It took a long time to get the results in. So I haven't checked in a few weeks now, but it's been rough with my OB's office, and I've been like, my anxiety has been pretty high and heightened. There's been a lot of issues with my OB office on like the logistical and a lot of issues with the lab, which is Quest, which is right under my OB office. There's just a lot of miscommunication, me getting the runaround, them blaming each other, and then there being like very little solution involved. So without going like too far into it, basically there's just been a few major issues. Like one has been when I got my NIPT blood test, which by the way came back fine, so I don't need further testing for genetic screening. They can attach the gender onto that. So they're like, oh, we'll also blood test for the gender if that's, you know, if that's what you want. And we're like, definitely, yes. Like, you know, so insurance covers the NIPT, so they just add on the gender without cost. So, but if you were to like just test for the gender, then you'd have to pay for that out of pocket. So basically what happened was like someone messed up along the way and they did not test for my gender and the blood test. So I was getting the runaround, and like the OB office was like blaming Quest, and Quest was like, we never got that on the order. And then another medical assistant saw that actually one of the other medical assistants did not fill out to test for my gender, so it was actually on my OB's office, but they were trying to get Quest to like give them the results for my gender anyway, and that took like weeks. Like, and I kept getting the runaround. The different medical assistants were like, oh, they said 2 days they'll have it. But it was like weeks went by, and we had originally planned the gender reveal for June 1st, but we had rescheduled because they said that it would take multiple weeks to get back to us just in general. So we rescheduled because it was going to cut it too close, even if they did give it to us on time. So we had like rescheduled way late in the month of June to like June 28th, which is today. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can wait that long, but good thing I did, because like we had to pretty much wait this long to get the actual results. I got them like last week or maybe a week and a half ago. We don't even know how it happened. Like all of a sudden, like we just got a call from my OB office saying like the results are in. Like, and I was like, very skeptical because I had called before and they said they were in and they weren't. And like I had gotten multiple calls from different medical assistants saying that they were really trying to talk to Quest and pushing it through and expediting it. And Quest kept saying 2 days, and it would be again weeks. So I was very skeptical, but I went and I picked it up the day they called me, and I picked it up in an envelope, and I drove right to Jess's house and put the envelope in her mailbox, like in the middle of my workday in between clients. I was like, I can't even mess around with this anymore. It was like very stressful. Zach and I were considering like buying our own blood test kit because they couldn't test my blood again, like take my blood and do it because insurance wouldn't cover it because I already did the NIPT. So my OB was trying to make up for it by like offering me a ultrasound to try to see the anatomy, and she was gonna like fudge a CPT code to make it so I didn't have to pay for it, like make up a reason why I needed the ultrasound. So I like appreciated that, and we put that on the books, but the blood test came in before that, like my results. I don't know how they got those results after so long. But they did. It was a little hard to trust. It was like, oh my God, I hope they didn't just like make up whether I had a boy or a girl, because they're like so sick of trying to deal with this case. And like, but I just kind of like pushed that aside. I can't control it. So I did end up canceling the ultrasound that my OB had scheduled, because I felt like, I don't know, I just felt like I didn't want to like waste her time, and she like did me a favor anyway, so I didn't want to like waste her time with that. So we canceled that, and I just trusted that the results were correct. And so yeah, so that worked out, and I always appreciated my OB for that. But there's just been some other problems too with my OB's office, like and Quest, and like maybe the pairing of both, like I'm not sure. So the OB practice, I've been going to this gynecologist and OB since I was 16, Dr. Delden, and she's been great. But it's just like they work in a pretty big practice. There's like 10 different doctors, like OBs, that could deliver my baby. Like I could see different ones at different appointments, and that's all fine, like, but I think there's just this like a very busy place. There's 2 or 3 different locations, and I'm going to the Worcester office now because that's where my doctor is on Fridays, which is my day off. I've always gone to the Marlborough office. It's a lot quieter. It's just like a lot just nicer, and Worcester is kind of like busy and and the location is like but the office is like okay. But so I was like fine with it for a while, but then I don't know, it's like the gender thing happened, and then they also told me that like the original blood test, like they didn't even test half of the blood tests they were supposed to. That's like a separate issue than the gender thing. Like they checked off everything, and they just Quest like didn't test half of the tests. So like I don't know. That was weird. And then, so I went down to Quest to get my blood test, because I had to do like another round of blood testing at some point. And the Quest lady was like, we can't run this through Quest. We have to run it through Women's Health of Connecticut, which is like a different lab they use. And this has been an issue since the beginning. My insurance doesn't cover Women's Health of Connecticut, so I needed them to go through Quest. And all along my pregnancy, my OB, different medical assistants, the triage lady I talked to initially when I called them and told them I was pregnant, all said that they could just send all of my blood work through Quest instead of half through Women's Health of Connecticut, so I would be covered. They're like, we deal with this all the time. I'm like, great. All along the way, I was doing my due diligence, making sure people knew, double checking. Okay, I'm getting blood work today. Can you just write a note that I need all of it to go through Quest's labs, not half to Women's Health of Connecticut? They're like, yep. I get down to Quest. Quest is like, oh, we can't do this. Our hands are tied. Like, we have to run it through Women's Health of Connecticut. It doesn't matter what they write. We are bound to do that. I don't really understand the ins and outs of it, but like, that's what they said. And I'm like, how does my OB office not know this after like many years of working with them, right above them? They're in the same building. I know they're not like the same company, right? But like, how do they not know this? So the woman was really nice that was taking my blood, and she like looked, she was like, yeah, like your last round of testing, like half of it got sent to Women's Health of Connecticut. I'm like, oh my God, so I'm going to be paying for that. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, how is the ball dropped so hard and the communication so off? So, that's like frustrating, because I did everything I could like along the way. I called my insurance. I was on with them for so long to figure out what was covered, what was not. They were like, well, what lab do they use? And then I had to call my OB office, and they were like, well, we use Quest, but we also use Women's Health of Connecticut, even though Quest draws my blood, like they go through 2 different labs. And I was like, okay. So I looked up if my insurance covers Women's Health of Connecticut. They don't. So that's why I was like, okay, so can I go through Quest then? And they were like, yes. So I was doing my due diligence all along the way, and I was totally misled, and it's not anybody's fault, but like, it's really just frustrating. So I'm getting the runaround from them, and the woman was like, you need to go to any other Quest every time you have like your glucose test coming up at 24 weeks, like your any other blood testing. You need to not go to this Quest, because other Quests will be able to run it through Quest, but us, because we're like right underneath your OB office, we are bound to go through their lab. And I'm like, that is so crazy, because they schedule all my appointments based on like being able to see Quest and going right back upstairs. So I'm like, if I have to go to another Quest for my blood work, it's super annoying, and like, I don't know, like, it's just frustrating, and like, I just like, that's not the experience that like I want. It's a lot of misinformation, a lot of figuring stuff out on my own, and like, just not feeling held. They didn't my OB office didn't give me like a packet of information about pregnancy when I got there. Like, all the appointments have felt very rushed with the OBs. Well, like half rushed, I guess. Some more rushed than others. And to top it all off, like I just heard my OB talk about like her personal life for like 15 minutes the other day. Like she was like 10 out of 10 anxious and like went on a rant of like her whole entire situation with her daughter and her son, and her mother got breast cancer and like all of this. And I'm like literally can hear her clear as day waiting for her to come in for my appointment. And like I get people are human, that's fine, but I don't need to hear that like when I'm already anxious and stressed about 10 other situations to do with my pregnancy and you're my provider. Like I'm a therapist. My clients don't hear me talk about my personal life and get all stressed out. Like that's just not a professional relationship. And what happened was it made me feel super anxious. Like I felt more anxious than I ever have. Like I was feeling lightheaded. Like I had to do like deep breathing. Like almost had a panic attack. Like it was weird. Like I don't usually get that level of anxiety. And so it was just a very weird situation. So I was just like very turned off by that day, but also just things leading up to that, like all the things leading up to that day, where they're giving me the runaround about the gender, and they're telling me that my blood tests weren't covered, and they're telling me they didn't test for half the blood tests, and then they're telling me, and I can hear my OB talking about her personal life, and you know, while they did try to make up for all of this stuff, and my OB like did, you know, try to get me the ultrasound to make up for the gender, and they did eventually get the gender, it still was just very unsettling, the whole experience. And I don't know, like I just feel like it would be crazy if I didn't transfer OBs at this point. I also like never really wanted to deliver at the hospital I'm delivering at, which is UMass Memorial. And it's just like I'm not allowed to get a tour there, and it's just weird. Like I don't know, there's a couple other hospitals like Emerson and St. Vincent's that are like really supposed to be nice, and they have like a big focus on like their maternity centers and their birthing centers or whatever. So, and St. Vincent's is just like a nicer hospital. So I set up a tour with St. Vincent's. They will let me tour even if I'm not there yet. I got my medical records to be sent to me from my OB office, though I have not received them yet. And I've been calling like St. Vincent's and Emerson to get more information about their different OBs and researching with kind of like my friends where they've gone, like what their experience is. So right now I'm just kind of like sifting through all that information and trying to figure out if I should switch OBs or not. So it's been like a rough ride. Today has been a big highlight that was really needed, because for weeks I've been like super anxious and trying to make decisions about the more logistical end of things, and feeling like the stakes are really high, like feeling like just it's like really hard to switch OBs, and feeling like also like I'm playing God. Like what if like my hospital I'm supposed to be delivering at has the best NICU, and like what if I needed the NICU and then I switched out of that? Like that's insane, you know? So some part of me just wants to say F it, like let me just stay with these people, maybe it won't be as bad from here on out. Part of me is like, I would be crazy if I didn't switch. This is my opportunity to have like a nicer hospital that I like in terms of just like, you know, cushy stuff. And I don't know, like, so I'm kind of torn right now, but we'll see what happens when I go on the tour with St. Vincent's. It's kind of where I'm at. I think Emerson, I'm not really getting enough information from them to feel confident going there. So, because I'm not able to get a tour there. They have tours, but they're booked up for the next couple months, so I wouldn't be able to even see the birthing center. So I feel like I'm down to either St. Vincent's or stay at my place. And St. Vincent's is 5 minutes away from UMass, so if I did need the NICU, like it's a pretty quick transfer. Like it wouldn't be a long, you know, drive. So I don't know. That makes me feel a little bit better than being in Concord, where I don't know where the nearest NICU is. So or like really good NICU. So I don't know. And I've had like 3 people close to me, Jess, Allie, who's Zach's sister-in-law, and one other person I just talked to, all delivered at St. Vincent's. They all had the same OBs, and they all had really good experiences. So that's where I'm at with that. And yeah, so no really new symptoms yet. Again, I'm 18 weeks, should feel the baby move soon, but I don't think I have. Maybe a little flutter one time, but I can't really tell. So I'm looking forward to that. Now Zach and I can kind of move forward, solidifying like better name choices, themes for the nursery, themes for my baby shower, things like that. My mom and I have been touring baby shower venues. We just toured Tower Hill Botanical Gardens, and tomorrow we're going to tour Marlboro Country Club, and Zach and I got a quote, and we toured Evergreen Tea Room in Hudson. So we're like looking for those, which is really exciting. I decided my mom will be doing like the venue and the catering, and Jess, my best friend Jess, will be doing like the games and like the decorations and the invitations, and they'll be working together so I can kind of take a step back. So yeah, and then it'll be sometime in September. I'm gonna try to do a Sunday so important women in my life can come that work on Saturday. So that is all the updates I'm gonna give for now, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.